we started the first verse. And it reads as follows. And the third day there was a wedding, there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee. And the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, they have no wine. I guess I'll probably talk about more than that, but at least that they didn't have no wine. That's what we're going to talk about. No wine for you. No wine for you. Okay, can you hear me? Good. Okay. Okay, so now this is the discourse of the marriage at Canaan, where Jesus is invited to a wedding. Now, at this point, you probably should just stop and think about that. This was not in this discourse, there's no preaching. In this discourse, there's no prophecy. It's just Jesus going to a wedding. So, this marriage that was set, that both Jesus and his disciples were called to this marriage. There were probably, maybe it wasn't 12 disciples by then, probably was only about 5 by then, but they all were invited to a wedding. First, let me just say something about Jewish weddings. The most happiest time in a person's life could be when they got married. Mm-hmm. Some of the customs that everybody in this room might be old enough. There's one person who might be too young to know this, but when people got married, they would take and put streamers on the cars. They would take cans and put behind the cars, and they would drive all over the place, blowing the horns. It's amazing that custom came from these people. So at the Jewish weddings, these things were so exciting. They were such an event that they wanted everybody to see. Here's an example. Here's how it would go. The people who were virgins got married on Wednesdays. So because you got married on Wednesday, everybody in the village knew you was a virgin. The people who got married on Thursdays were widows. Those are people whose husband had died. So they wouldn't let them, everybody just about now all get married on Saturday. Nah, they kind of fixed that thing a little bit different there. So when you got married dictated who you were. Okay, so now they would get married, and the wedding celebration would last for at least a week. And when they would leave from the service, they would go in the most indirect direction to get to their house. And then it was an open house for a week. So this was one of those things to where Sister Brown gave us some land for when we got married. Okay? Well, when Sister Brown came to that wedding, don't be done run out of wine. Don't be done run out of the wine. Don't run out of wine, because wine was part of the celebration. And in an area that the water itself was not, it was hard to find pure water. All right? So the idea that people drank wine was a point of convenience, number one, and number two, it was because of the water conditions itself. But it was amazing to me that Jesus got invited to a wedding. So there are some people, if you have any fun at all, they think you done committed a sin. Because in their mind, you go to a wedding, that means a party, then that means you got a sin, because you couldn't have, Jesus went.
All right.
And his disciples. And and when we get to this other part, I have some mystery stuff that we'll talk about later. But both Jesus and his disciples were made to go there. Now we find out that this is at the beginning of the wedding, and the people says that Mary said that they have no wine. It's interesting to know what Mary had to do with this. She had to be a person helping with the wedding, but we know she wasn't in charge of it. Because there was another person later on, we're going to find out who he was. He was supposed to be in charge of it. So now, these people, if you can imagine in your mind, finding these pots, these 6 water pots. These water pots will hold between 20 and 30 gallons of water. And what they were made for was, what they were there for was to, the Jewish people had this thing in the law that they had to ceremonially wash their hands before they ate. And that's what that water was for. Some of the things that they had to do with the water besides drink water was that this ceremonially washing of their hands was a big deal to them. It had nothing to do with cleaning their heart. It had nothing spiritual to do with it. And that's the reason why the water ran out, why the wine ran out. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, but he said that there was no wine. And Jesus said, "Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not come." You know, when I read that, I was going, that sounded a little rebuke, but it wasn't. Because that's the same words that Jesus used in the Greek. It was the same words that he used at the cross. It said, "Woman, behold your son." So it's not. There are some words that don't translate really, really well. And because we're deviants, we just think that, okay, well, that would have to be there. His mother said unto the servants, "Whatsoever he said unto you, do it." You know, one of the things that I liked about whatever he said to do it. Now, really, I was amazed that the disciples wouldn't do nothing. Jesus did not go grandstanding and say, "Well, wait a minute, I'm going to do something big." Because this was his first miracle. It's the first recorded miracle. You know, that there's some people who say that they got, you know, that he did all kinds of miracles when he was a child, and this book don't say all that. This is the first record of this miracle. So now, when you take and start to consider that his first, one of the things you know what you always should do, if you ever have a wedding, probably should invite Jesus. That's just a little side one, you know. That's just a little side one, you know. Maybe you should invite him there. Maybe it might last a little longer. Maybe it might work a little bit better. Maybe it might just come out better. Things may just come along, and then if an emergency rises up, he can always take care of it. Mm-hmm. So now he took and had these 6 water pots, and he tells the servants to fill the water pots. Now, it's a good thing to know that God has a provision for you.
All right.
And you notice that it said in the 7th verse that they filled the water pots with water pots, and that they filled them to the brim. Mm-hmm. Now, he just told them to fill it. Now, it's not like they were sitting next to a stream where they could just go and put some water and put it in these pots. They had to go someplace where the water was, a well or a stream, and bring it back. Mm-hmm. So this was labor intensive. So now, Jesus, you know, go fill it up. It's a wonderful thing to be a servant of God and be able to do your job with a spirit of excellence.
Amen.
Not just to just do it, I just put some water in it. And you notice one of the things that he didn't say why. None of the servants was asking him why. Why do we have to do this? Why? Sometimes we just get hung up on why and just not doing what we told. Some of the things is really plain. We should actually just do what we're told.
Amen.
Amen. I'm not saying that you should not have a mind, but sometimes if the Lord tells you to do something and you know it's his voice, well, I guess you should just do it.
Amen.
Because all that why and all that other stuff, God is really not good in answering folks with the why and okay. Okay, well, and Jesus said to his mother before that his time had not come, that his hour had not come. Now, I was laughing about the hour because it's probably 15, 20 times in the scripture where he had said that his hour hadn't come. But his hour was on the cross, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So they filled up these 6 pots of water. They filled it with a spirit of excellence, and they filled them to the rim. I wonder why they filled it to the rim. I wonder, but I really don't wonder, because I do know that when we was kids, they used to have, you don't know about this, they used to have a little thing called fizzy. You take the fizzy and put it in the water, and it would turn into Kool-Aid.
Yes.
And they would bubble and stuff. You were always all excited because we all bubbling. And then all of a sudden it was Kool-Aid in there, and you just drank it up. Okay, well, nobody could say that Jesus added to. He don't want Jesus don't want to add nothing to you. He wants to transform the stuff that's on the inside and make it something totally different. He wants to have a total change in you. So if the rim wasn't filled to the rim, then they could have said he could have put some extract into it and made it into wine. But because those pots was filled to the rim, could nobody else say nothing. And what I like about the servants, I'm a servant. I love being a servant.
Amen.
Because the servants do things, see things that other folks don't see.
Mm-hmm.
You know something, if you be so high and mighty, you had to ride in a helicopter to go preach. You ain't seeing nothing. But the people who actually, sometimes the person that sweep the floor can have just as great a revelation while he's sweeping.
Amen.
As the person that studied and all this, that's getting paid. Because some people just do things for free. Mm-hmm. They do it for service. Now these workers, they was doing something. Jesus hadn't worked no miracles. So they had no expectation of what his miracle was going to be or what he was doing. As far as I was concerned, now you're going to make me go over here and fill up all these big old pots. 60, so it was 6. It was 6, it's 100, at least 120 gallons. We don't know how much water they had in them, but we know that they were still labor intensive. So, when God is doing things for other people, somebody have to work.
Amen.
Right.
And so Jesus said to them, fill them to the brim, and then he said unto them, draw out now and bring unto the governor of the feast. This would have been the master of ceremonies, the person in charge, the wedding coordinator. It would have been the same thing. And they gave it to him. Now, notice that the service they didn't go and start saying, "Ooh, Jesus turned the water into wine." They did what they was told. He told them to take some of it out and go give it to the guy who's in charge. And the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that had been made into wine and knew not from whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew. Now ain't that something? Now you in charge, but you don't know. There are a whole bunch of people that move around in Christ in ignorance. They just don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. Because it's not that it's not even important for you to know, but you just don't know. And there are things that we don't know and we don't try to find out. But a lot of us, we move in ignorance. I think that church education has really let down a lot of people, because there are a lot of things where they should be walking in a whole different life, because Jesus has made and prepared a way for us to be kings and queens and princes, and we're supposed to be somebody. But in our minds, always, we don't have that benefit. He said we could be first, and we didn't have to be last. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a prosperity person. I'm talking about what you can do is that if your nephew need to be operated on, that you can go to the throne room.
Amen.
You can go you can go right up into the throne room and plead for his life.
Amen.
Amen. I mean, there's some things you can be able to do, but if you don't know it, you can't do it.
Amen.
You know, there's some people, they ain't praying, they hoping. They don't know if it's really going to happen. They just hoping that it's going to happen. You're supposed to be able to go there, and you got to believe it in your heart. Faith is the substance of things you hoping for. It's the evidence of things you haven't seen. You have no way of knowing, but you can go out there. You can boldly go and do it.
All right.
You know, when my kids go and ask me for something, when they asked me this one time, I just paid them. I didn't pay them no attention. Lisa come up there and said, Daddy, I want a bike. Okay. Daddy, I want a bike. When it got to, Daddy, I need to have that bike. I really want the bike, Daddy. But then I know she wanted one. Now we're gonna get her a bike. But sometimes when you ask things and you don't believe you're gonna get it, how do you deserve to get it? You're supposed to ask with anticipation that God is gonna do what you asked him to do. You got to be able to see that thing. You got to be able to see it working.
Amen.
Now these servants, now they done seen a miracle and ain't told nobody. They ain't told nobody. See, that would be hard for me. See, you done turn that water into wine. Ooh. Let me taste it. Let me see let me see that it's wine. Okay, anyway, let's go on a little bit further. So now the governor is surprised, he ignorant. And then so he go get the bridegroom and tell him, say, that's a nice trick you pulled on him, baby. You're gonna save the best wine for last. And with Christ in everything, the best is yet to come.
All right.
So sometimes you might think, oh, it can't get no gooder than this. It can't get no better than this. The gooder it's gonna get is right now. Well, no. We are looking forward to a day.
All right.
When there's no more crying, there's no more dying. He said he'll wipe all our tears from our eyes. He said this thing ain't over.
Thank you, Lord.
So now he said that every man at the beginning do a set forth good wine, and that when men have well drank, that means they be a little bit tipsy. Then they don't know the difference between good wine and bad wine. So you put the premise was to put the good wine out first, and then put down the watered down wine. The good wine was a ratio of 2-to-1, and then the watered down wine was like 4-to-1. Aha! So it was a lot cheaper. But since Sister Brown was giving me some land for my marriage, and we'd have ran out of wine, everything would have been. We live in a small neighborhood, a small town. In a small town, everybody know everything. In a small town, everybody remember everything, because there's nothing else to talk about. They didn't have no TVs, they didn't have nothing, but they would remember. And there are in the in archaeology, they have lawsuits that was created because we ran out of wine. Sister Brown said, I ain't even having that. Now I'm giving you some valuable land and I can't get no wine? Really? No, thank you. You're getting sued. But back to our point is that if we look at this a different way. So the law was just like that wine. It had run out. Its time was done. Regardless of what people wanted it to stay or not, it wouldn't none. It was gone. When Jesus came with the new wine, he took and said, you can't even put this new wine in old skins. Right. Can't take it. He said, see, so now this wine was significant. Jesus came with a new and better way. His new and better way was that he would have a better testament. He would be in Hebrews it said he would be a better priest. He was better than Aaron. He was better than Moses. He was greater than all the people who they held dear. Because Jesus' way was new. Jesus' way was better. It was a better way of doing this thing. Is that through him you would have salvation.
Yes.
Through him, you didn't have to go to the temple every day. You didn't have to kill up a whole bunch of animals and stuff before and keep on doing the same crazy thing that you kept doing over and over and over. The priest didn't have to go into the room and be scared, knowing that if the Lord didn't accept his sin offering on the Day of Atonement, that he had to walk around with bells on his clothes and a rope on his legs so they could pull him out. So just in case that God struck him down dead, that he would be able to get up out of there. Well, he was dead, so I don't think he cared. But my point is the only thing you have to think about is that the Lord has a new and better way. Through Jesus Christ, we can live. Jesus came, he died that we might have a right to the tree of life. That this same Jesus that turned the water into wine, that motivated the service to work with a spirit of excellence, that same Jesus, he came through 42 generations, that he came and died for us, that he came and delivered us from sin. When we was yet without hope, Jesus came. He came for us.
Thank you, Lord.
And if you're here today, you can accept that same Jesus.
Amen.
That same Jesus is still a miracle worker. He can still do things. He can take something, and he don't want to take and just turn something into something or add something to you. He wants to change you. He wants to have you to have he even said it was a new birth. See, there's some people that are always wondering about, can I have something? If I could do it all over again, I would do it like, today you can have a new birth.
All right.
A new birth with a person that's going to direct you. Yes, you're going to have problems. Nope. Yep, you can be sick. All those other things can happen. But the good thing about it is that Jesus is here, and he's here for you. So if you're here, it offers for an invitation for discipleship. If you're here today and don't know Jesus and the free pardon of your sin, we can just know that you can come to Jesus right now while there's yet time. The time to accept him is while you're alive. Because we know that that he will guide you. He will help you. Even though there is none, there is still room.
Amen.
God bless you.
What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Vicki Winans, and you're watching Bell Global.
My name is Mike Duggan, and I'm watching the Bell Global Network.
Hey, keep it locked. It's your boy D. Hattie watching the Bell Global Network. You know how it is.
Hi, I'm Charlie Langton, and you're watching the Bell Global Network.
Hi, this is Martha Reeves, and you're watching Bell Global.
Hi, everybody. I'm telling you, everything that happened to me that was good, God did it. I'm Evelyn Turrentine, AG, and you're watching the Bell Global Network.
This is Pastor D. Alexander Bullock of Preachers of Detroit, and you're watching the Bell Global Network.
This is Bishop Edgar Van of Second Ebenezer Church in Detroit, Michigan, and you're watching the Bell Global Network.
Hi, I'm Bernadette Stanis. You know me best as Thelma from the TV show Good Times, and you are watching Bell Global Network.
Bye.